Hey everyone, first and foremost, if you're watching this video, I just want to say thank you for checking it out. In the next 3 to 4 minutes, I'm just going to kind of walk you through my process and how I generally go about making my floating shelves. Right here, we're making the mounts for the floating shelves. This is actually a mount for a separate project, not the shelves that you're going to see in this video, but I forgot to actually record this process for the other shelves that I made, but the process is the same. So right here, I'm just kind of pre-drilling the pieces and getting my screws set. I go ahead and glue these up because I want these supports to be nice and strong once we anchor them to the wall. Also, something to note, I build the mounts last, and although I'm showing you this clip first, generally you want to build the shelf first because you're going to measure your space, see exactly how big the shelf needs to be, and then you want to build the mount to fit the shelf, not the other way around. If you build the mount first, then you're going to have to build the shelf to fit the mount, and you might end up having to build the shelf too big. All right, on to what will be your first step after you've measured out your space. Once you've got your pieces cut, we're going to bring them over to the table saw. We're going to angle the blade at 45 degrees to rip our miters. In this clip, you'll notice we're ripping some red oak right here. This was actually part of the same project in the first clip. In the upcoming videos, you're going to see a really nice 1x12 and 1x4 maple. That being said, the material type doesn't really matter that much. That's why I didn't mind merging these videos together. On a side note, if you're wearing long sleeves while ripping something on a table saw or even a miter saw, always be fully aware of where your sleeves are at. You do not want those getting caught in a blade. All right, so let's move on to the fun stuff. So we've got all of our pieces cut now. We're going to run painter's tape along the back side of the bottom part of the shelf. Then we're going to take our other pieces and we're going to press that into the tape and line that up as good as we can. Side note, when you're picking out your pieces for these shelves, ideally just try to find the straightest pieces you can find. If you find something that is warped or it's got a curve or a bend in it, it is going to make lining these miters up a nightmare. So do your best there, and that's going to make this process a lot easier. Once you've got everything lined up, we're going to get our glue inside the joints. And I usually try to get a pretty good amount of glue. Might even get a little bit of squeeze out, but we're not really worried about that because we'll sand that down. Once you've got everything lined up, glued up, taped up, we'll get everything pressed together. Take your time through this process right here and really just try to get it as lined up as possible. You'll see this actually took me a while, and sometimes I'll use a couple of trim nails just to tack one side on while I try to line the other side up. And then we're going to press that tape down as tight as we can, pull that joint really close together. Once you've got all that done, I'm going to let it dry overnight just so that glue has some time to really set up. The next day, we'll peel all the tape off, and then we're going to start sanding everything down. So at this point in the video, I've already got these sanded down pretty good, but the first step, when you take that tape off, it's going to look a little rough, so I'll put some 80 grit on there to get that sanded down really well. You may find that some of the miters have a little bit of a gap in it, which you can use a little bit of additional glue or putty, and then I'll come back through and I'll use some 120 and sand that down where it's looking nice and clean. Once you've sanded it with the 120, if you want to take the additional step to get these really pretty, I would advise taking some 220 and hand sanding. Once you've completed the sanding process, find you an air compressor and just blow all that dust off the best you can. There's a bunch of different ways you can go about staining. If it's a big project, I'd actually prefer to spray, but right here, being it was only 3 shelves, I was like, I'm just going to brush this in. So I brush it in, let it dry for about 15 minutes, and then come back with a rag and kind of wipe it up. Once your stain is done, you're going to want to do your clear coat. Again, I like to spray everything I can. It just gives it a better finish, but you can definitely brush this on. Just make sure you've got a good brush for that. And here is the final product. I did not get a video of me doing the mounts because I'm a doofus, but if it's drywall, it's pretty straightforward. You just want to anchor it to the studs. If it's tile like this wall, you want to drill through that. We ended up using toggle bolts to secure the mounts. But if you have any questions, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.